Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you find yourself in this weird, wacky world of ours, and welcome to the exciting Summit of Darkness in Dublin. This evening's scene will take place just outside Carpe Infernum, a goth club located at the heart of Dublin city proper, wherein the, shall we say, the alternative dilettantes of the city go to strut their stuff. Even on a Monday evening, there are still people dressed up to the nines in top hats and short skirts, in fishnets, and in far too much mascara. So, we're joining Miss Anna as she makes her way towards, well, the gates of hell.
Except for possibly wearing too much mascara. Anna doesn't really look like she belongs there too much. She definitely stands out from the typical crowd. Boots, dark jeans, shirt, jacket, with a large bag slung over one shoulder. She'll order a scotch and soda at the bar. Because this is not necessarily something she wants to go into detail with anyone, but well, she needs to now more than ever. And she will make her way to meet Gravedigger.
Mr. Gravedigger has a VIP section of his club that is up a set of stairs, a small, only about 5 or 6 steps, and there's a large circular couch with a table that is set at the table, looks like a tombstone. You will see the seated figure of Mr. Gravedigger, who is currently smoking a cigarette, despite the fact that it is illegal to smoke cigarettes inside in Ireland, but no one seems to be paying much attention. There are two young ladies on either side of him who are kind of cuddled in, and he appears to be drinking a drink that looks, from where you're standing, to be a bright, almost neon purple. As you step up through the up the steps, his eyes raise from where they're looking down. You see one eye, and the other is hidden behind an eye patch as he smiles and says, "My, my, my. What do I deserve? Why do I deserve a visitation from someone so lovely this evening?"
Unfortunately, matters of a strange and disturbing nature.
Oh, my darling, I am an expert at matters both strange and disturbing. But I take it that these are matters to be discussed in private.
Yes.
All right, then. Girls, beat it. I have to have a drink with my new friend here. The girls kind of look up at you with that kind of catty look before they slink away, pulling themselves up from the couch and walking down past you into the dance floor. And he says, "So, a pleasure to make your acquaintance, Miss."
Please call me Anna.
Miss Anna. So, what can I, a humble rag and bone man, do for you?
I'm given to understand you're the leader of the disparates in the city.
For my multitude of sins.
Well, I suppose I should start this off by introducing myself properly.
He kind of leans his head on his hands and cocks the head to the side, like as in, "I'm waiting."
My name properly is... Yes, Siren. My name properly is...
Fascinating.
My name properly is Anais Furet of the Story Keepers. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
My, the new kids on the block. Come see old Mr. Gravedigger. But I'm sure that you came here for more than just simple conversation to let me know that you existed, my darling. So, Oh, your drink is empty. Would you care for another?
Please.
He raises his hand nonchalantly, and when you look down again, your drink is full. So, what can I do for you?
I need to speak with you about a couple of incidents that may possibly be connected.
Hmm. He pulls out another cigarette. He'll offer you a cigarette from the box.
She'll take one.
So, he'll say as he lights a cigarette with a Zippo he removes from the inner folds of his jacket. Tell me what it is you have to tell me then. I'm always interested in a good story.
Well, in that case, Evan, actually, I gotta ask a question.
Mm-hmm.
Does he make any attempt to hide or shield the flame from the Zippo?
No.
Okay.
Why?
This is because Anna has the extreme pyrophobia flaw.
Go have fun with that. Roll your willpower.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a small fire and it's distant from you, but it is extreme pyrophobia. So I'm going to say difficulty 6.
Two successes. Fortunately.
Remember, if you're not rolling for ST purposes, to roll in the rolls room, but that's fine for now.
Oh, yeah, that was in the wrong.
Yeah, no, I do that all the time. Don't worry about it.
Okay. So for a moment watching the lighter, Anna looks nervous. But
How does she light her own? Because I know that Anna smokes. How does she light her own cigarettes?
Usually she's been lighting them off other people's cigarettes. Yeah.
Gravedigger, seeing the look of unease, flicks the Zippo closed, and then he tosses the Zippo at you unlit. So he basically tosses the closed Zippo at you.
She'll take it. There's not a good way to get around this. So Anna is going to hand the Zippo back to Gravedigger, and she'll say, would you mind terribly? I have developed I guess you could say a phobia of fire.
My. Well, why don't you come cuddle up nice and close and you can light it off mine then?
Anna doesn't seem to have a problem. She'll scoot right in close to Gravedigger and light her cigarette off his.
Because it is important that I never say this. He does have appearance 4. His spec is unearthly.
Ooh, boy.
But he'll say, so, tell me the story. As I said, you're a story keeper, so I'm expecting a good tale, a good yarn out of this.
Well, in that case, do you remember the night of the concert?
Oh my, yes. Such tragedy.
It was planned.
Interesting.
When I arrived at the concert venue, I don't recall seeing any security. I think that was possibly intentional, given that, well, it struck me as odd. And I decided I would attempt to divine something of the future. I saw all the lights go out and be replaced by green fire. In a way, that vision did come to pass. Though the concert was going on for some time before that happened. It wasn't until the headlining event took the stage, and unfortunately, they've taken a rather firm stance against the values of this political party, calling themselves what is Ireland's Own?
Oh, right. Okay.
There was a young woman handing flyers outside the concert for the political party, and she and an older gentleman in a business suit, and I want to say sunglasses, came onto the stage, interrupted the concert, gave us the order to disperse, and said some threatening things about subversive speech and statements no longer being tolerated.
Oh, dearie, dearie, my.
The doors opened so people could start making their way out, and there were men in masks and hoods with clubs, baseball bats. I think I saw someone with a fire axe. Kind of made it difficult for people to leave, but that was the point. Not long after, the lights went out. And, well, I had fixed it so I would be able to see in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
What I saw was the woman. She took a whip, a twisted whip that it was sinewy in that it was made of sinew.
Delicious.
And she was given the go-ahead by the old man who made his exit. Unfortunately, I was not able to follow him because the woman leapt into the crowd and changed into the form of a large bipedal anthropomorphic wolf with black fur and horns and rancid, disgusting looking blood.
Oh my. That is very interesting. You've just answered a question for me, little miss.
What's that?
I'd heard something through the grapevine, and now I know why. I suppose since you enlightened me with information, I'll give you a freebie. That seems fair, doesn't it?
That does seem fair.
So, he says, leaning back in the chair, I don't suppose the name the six thorns of what was it? Oh, yes, I don't suppose the name the six black thorns mean anything to you, do they?
No, not particularly.
All right. What about the name? Right. I'm not exactly sure what you spirit keepers teach or what you learn, so I've got a question. What is it that you know about an entity that calls itself the Worm? Or it's called the Worm, I suppose. Also called Lord Centipede.
And Lord Centipede I know a little about, not as much as I should.
All
I
right. So
know.
what do you know?
Well, Lord Centipede, as I understand, is a a giant centipede that devours things in its path, like a
Correct.
thunderworm or a Jormundir.
In a manner of speaking, the worm, as he's called, is one of the three spiritual truths: the wild, the weaver, and the worm. The wild creates from nature, the weaver creates from mankind, for lack of a better word, and the worm destroys that which is created so that new things may be created. However, unfortunately, he's kind of gone a little bit bonkers, from what I've led to understand. Though I primarily deal with the dead, not much for spirit man, me, but I suppose when we're called to serve almost. So, but another question. What do you know about werewolves, lupines, they who howl at the moon?
Many stories.
Stories are fun.
I know many legends about how one becomes one. The only thing I would guess that I know about them is they turn whatever they're able to shapeshift into, they turn back into humans when you kill them.
I take it you killed this young lady, or rather, she was killed in your presence.
She was, yes. There
That's
were other entities involved at the concert.
Well, needless to say, to continue my story, these, from what I'm led to understand, these lupines, werewolves, call them what you will, are split into different affiliations, kind of like we are. It's kind of a matter of geographic location as well as political ideology. Though I don't know it entirely, honestly, I will admit. But from what I know, one of these groups. Now, I've seen the worm. I understand it in a way. Well, as much as one can. They, a group of them, danced down what they call the spiral. The spiral being the worm, the many pathways of it. And in doing so, they lost themselves. They became literally black spiral dancers. I've met a handful of them over my long tenured career. They want to bring about ruin, destruction, the end of all things. Kind of like Werewolf Nefandi.
Right.
Now, the six thorns of black, or the six black thorns, well, they're a group of such individuals who are affiliated with an organization, perhaps you've heard of it, called Pentex.
I have, yes.
Well, the Pentex make everything, don't they? They make anything from fucking soda to ballistic missiles.
Did not know about the ballistic missiles.
Oh yeah, they have some kind of arms contract business in Taiwan. I don't know. But all I know is that these entities, the Six Thorns, are in Dublin. I didn't know why until now. Needless to say, Pentex is pretty interesting as an entity if you poke around under the surface. The Technos used to do business with them.
That doesn't surprise me in the least.
Well, no, the Technos do business with anyone, really. So, you've answered a question for me. They're clearly here to oversee certain, shall we say, political appointees who Pentex would like to see in power.
How do you know so much about them?
I don't necessarily know much about that particular group as an entity. Pentex, I understand because I've got some friends who are, shall we say, officers in Pentex and whisper me little things from time to time in exchange for a handout here or a handout there.
You're very well connected.
All I know about the actual Six Thorns is I know the name of their leader, but not anything really about him. His name's, what was it? Oh, fuck. German guy. Or at least has a German name. Gerhard Schweitzer. That's his name.
Gerhard Schweitzer.
Yeah. Actually, no, I do beg your pardon. I'm entirely wrong on that. He's actually Swiss. My apologies.
Anna will pull out her notebook and write down the name.
That explains why no one can get their fucking story straight. Whenever ordinary people come into contact with lupines, it does something to their brains. It's like they're not built to understand.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there were a lot of people who reacted that way. And there were a few that didn't.
Yeah, for some reason it doesn't affect us.
Doesn't affect vampires either.
Oh, well, that's something I didn't know. So was that all you wanted to tell me then, little miss? Or was there something else?
No, there is something else. The
Right.
whip this wolf woman had. That's where the green fire came from.
Oh, fuck me, okay. Right, I assume you know what a fetish is, and not the ones that we cater to here.
I mean, I know the basics of it.
Yeah, spirit bound into an item.
Yes.
Well, that sounds like one of those.
I thought it was probably that, or well, actually, when I first saw it and the green fire, I was expecting trouble from, well, Nefandi, honestly.
It kind of is. Right, I'm going to tell you some sick ass fucking shit. Did you know that there are 3 factions of Nefandi?
No, I didn't.
Now you do. One of them are called the Malthians. Malthians worship or dance the spiral, much like Black Spiral dancers do, and they fall to the worm. That's how their avatars are inverted.
All right.
The fire you described is called Bale Fire. Nasty, nasty shit.
There was a report of green fire coming from an apartment that apparently exploded.
Oh, I heard about that. I know nothing about it, but I know an apartment exploded.
Well, I decided to go snoop around.
How did that end up?
Horrifically, actually.
Well, there you go.
That is actually an interesting tale in and of itself.
All ears.
Well, when I got there, the police were still clearing the scene, so I hung back for a while, waited until they left. I went inside in time to see a Garda officer standing off against it was almost a sphere made of the same green fire. Like an egg, I guess. There was something inside of it. I thought to look at it because the officer was clearly injured. I thought to look at it to see what it was, to see what I could be able to shield the both of us from. And that turned out to be a mistake. I do not know what was trying to crawl out of that sphere of fire. You know about my group, at least a little bit. I think you know the kind of things we deal in, the kind of information we have at our fingertips.
I am aware.
I couldn't imagine what I saw in that thing in my worst nightmare.
My.
It was completely inhuman. Completely inhuman. I almost want to say desire. Maybe lust. She scoots a little closer to Gravedigger and rubs her arm. Clearly uncomfortable thinking about this.
Oh, my. Well, now, I don't know exactly what to say, other than, sometimes we look and we don't like what we see.
Yes, there are things which man was not meant to know.
If you'd like, in exchange for keeping it, I can take out the memory for you.
I don't know about that.
Up to you.
Can I think on it?
By all means. I have no information on what this thing is that you saw. So that's interesting. I usually hear most things.
Yeah, there was a woman there I'd met before at the concert. I think her name was Lil? Or
No.
Lyle? But her being both places and the green fire, what makes me think they might be connected. Like, I don't know, maybe the Black Spiral dancers are trying to track down the people who survived the concert because we killed one of their own.
Maybe.
And I'm pretty sure someone took that fetish.
No. That does not seem like it's a good idea for both fun and profit.
Well, admittedly, I thought to take it, but I wasn't going to fight someone that could kill it for it.
That seems to me to be an excellent concept, my dear. Fascinating. We'll just have to see now, I suppose.
Anyway, I appreciate your time.
My time is freely given, darling. As I said, this is much more interesting than I thought it would be. But we've had a little tit-a-tat, a little exchange of information. I consider this a good day. In that case, I will wish you a good day, Miss Anna.
And you as well, Mr. Gravedigger.
And as Anna leaves, we shall call our scene to a close. Thank you, player. Thank you, watchers, for watching. This has been another Scene in Darkness in Dublin. Have a pleasant evening.